Hey folks, in the previous videos we covered a lot of the basic inputs. For this one, let's have a little bit of fun and see if we can grab assets from Moondust and RoboRecall and see if we can make them work with the plugin to do some full finger animation using the index controllers. We'll start off with Moondust because it uses the standard SteamVR skeleton. So if you don't have it already, just head over to Valve Software Moondust in GitHub and grab the full source code and a lot of the assets from there. Once you've done that, similar to how I've done it here, I've got all of the assets here. Just go to assets and search for Robo. And we're just going to grab this normal map here, this metallic map here, this one. So we're going to grab these three textures as well as the FBX file. So I'm just going to go back to this here. Let's create a folder for Moondust. Just drag and drop them here. Let's look at the FBX import settings. So make sure that the scale is set to 100 and force front x-axis is ticked. Just import all of them. That should be it. Just gonna do a bit of cleanup here and just rename stuff. All right, so and then let's recreate the material. Just like doing it like this makes it easier. Let's grab all these three textures here. That in there. Let's have a look. So if we go to the skeletal mesh, do a preview, be able to see the Moondust asset. There you go. We've got the Moondust Robo Hands into Unreal. And let's see if we can add an animation for that. So let's create an animation blueprint. And Robo right. Ready. So to do the animations, we have a node for you that came with a plugin. It's called SteamVR Skeletal Anim Pose. Just put that in there, plug it in there, and that should be pretty much it. So we'll just change this to right hand and make sure that you have SteamVR hand skeleton. And we're doing the final pose in there. If I do a compile from here, and let me just save all of the assets and try it now. I'm gonna open up my SteamVR. Should be up here. And the animation should immediately kick in and you should have full finger tracking with the animation right over there. All right. If you're wondering why that hasn't applied, the material, let's just hit apply in there. And that should work now. And you should be able to see this. And yeah, and all of its textured glory. Alrighty, so that's for the Moondust hands using the standard SteamVR skeleton here. So how about if you have assets that are based off the standard UE hands that comes with the VR template, for example. So as you can see here, you could also do pretty much the same thing with the mannequin, with the UE4 hand mannequin, and using the standard skeleton that comes with Unreal. You just use the same node and make sure that you have the hand skeleton set to UE4 hand skeleton. Something very important as of this recording is if you're looking at the skeletons in here, you have a certain number of bones, and we do quite aggressively check that in the node. So if you're trying to use a node on a non-standard skeleton that is not, let's say, UE4 hand skeleton or not the SteamVR hand skeleton, and you're using them incorrectly, you will get an editor crash. We'll probably do in a future iteration, do a more graceful error message rather than just being very aggressive and not allowing you to progress. So what then do you need to do? Let's say you have an asset that's not based off the standard UE hand skeleton and also not based off the standard SteamVR skeleton. So if you're not an animator or can't afford one, I'll show you a way where you can still do full finger animation using just the tools that comes with Unreal. All right, for that, we're going to use RoboRecall assets. So you can grab RoboRecall if you don't know already from the mod kit in the asset store. Sorry, in the Epic Games store. Let's do RoboRecall. And you should be able to grab our RoboRecall mod kit, and from there we can grab assets. So once you've got that downloaded onto your system, you should be able to just go to the directory and open that up. As you can see from here, RoboRecall was built on a modified engine version 4.16. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab assets from the project, pick and choose the ones we need, and transfer them over to the this demo project that we're using. All right, so once you have RoboRecall up, just grab this out. Just gonna maximize this, sorry. One sec. And let's go to content and just have a look at, let's do some filters here. I'm only interested with skeletal meshes and textures, right? So skeletal mesh texture, let's do search for hand. All right, so we've done the right hand model in the, so let's do left hand for RoboRecall. Of that. And just do an asset action. Export it out as an FBX file. So let's just create a new directory in here. And I'm just going to call it raw. And this is going to be a skeletal mesh. So Robo left. All right, and then let's just grab these masks here and export those as well. All right, so let's have a look at the material. All right, so there's a lot going on here, so we're gonna have to simplify this a bit for our project. All right, so let's just close this now. Close RoboRecall. And back to our project. Let's just save everything. On a content folder, I'm gonna create a new folder. Let's call this RoboRecall. All right, and let's import the stuff. It's in raw. And let's import all of them. Okay. So for the skeletal mesh, since it was already coming from Unreal, I'm just gonna import uniform scale to 1. and import all should be it. Close that in. Gonna save that. And let's look at the material and let's recreate everything. Alrighty, so that's a simplified version of the original material. And it should look pretty much the same. We have just going to focus a little bit on this particular texture for those who are trying to follow along. So the red goes to ambient, the red channel goes to the ambient occlusion, the green channel goes to the roughness, and blue goes to metallic. All right, so once we have that ready, let's just click apply. And let's go back to, I'm just gonna save everything. Back to the mesh. And just have a quick look at it. Then we're gonna create the animation. Sorry, create the animation blueprint. So I'm gonna do ABP Robo. This is gonna be the left hand. Let's grab that along. All right, so this particular pose in here is a bit problematic for Right, so this is actually a technique I demoed way back with Project Sunrock, which is the SteamVR input plugin that community plugin that I created prior to working on the official one with Valve. So basically for now, we're just gonna have to position the hand because it's in a bit of an awkward starting position here, so you could see. So we're going to position it so that it actually matches the hand with the motion controller for this demo. So I'm just going to use the transform modify bone here. All right, and we're gonna do make sure the translation replace existing, rotation mode is replace existing. We're gonna do a rotation. Let me just focus that a bit so I can see. All right, so we're gonna do 180 Y and a -90 here. And -15x, and obviously we have to specify which bone we actually want to do. For this one, I'm gonna modify this one and press F again and see -15 on the X, 180 and -90, and that should position it perfectly onto the motion controller. All right, so the main technique here is we need to be able to animate all of these fingers using curl values. And I'm just going to add the code quickly from here. So the code, the blueprint node that you need is get finger curls in place. And we're using the left hand. We're going to just get the summary data from animation coming in from the driver. So this one, we're going to promote it to a variable and just rename this variable to, call it curls. All right. And that should have it so that you can have access to it from here. Okay, and we're going to use that in a while as an alpha. So now we want to be able to blend animations from all of the different fingers, so all of these 5 fingers. So what I'm going to do is let's go back to the skeleton and let's see if I can, yep, position it a little bit better. Okay, so we have the thumb. I'm just gonna do that. Just gonna position it so it looks closed. Put a bit of effort into this. And just to create asset, create animation from current pose. We're gonna save that in there. So we're gonna create an animation, 1 frame animation sequence called thumb underscore closed, like that. Click OK, and that's it. So Control Shift S for saving. Go back to the blueprint. So now I can call on that animation. Right? And we're gonna need to do a layered blend per ball. Oops. We're gonna use this one as a base pose. Put that in there. Okay. And we're gonna use this one as a first blend pose. The alpha is gonna come from here. We're gonna do that in a while. All right, so with this one, we have to be able to use this animation, which is the thumb, and we need to be able to ensure that when you do the blend in here, it's gonna only do the thumb for the blend pose 0. So if you go layer setup, you can have a branch filter in here, just click plus, and in the branch filter, you're gonna be as a bone name. So the bone name is B underscore L underscore thumb 1, right? So we're gonna use that. B underscore L underscore thumb 1. Just click OK on that one. And duplicate that, and then just change this to 3. Change this one to 2. And you should have 1, 2, and 3. Right. 1, 2, and 3. Compile. And should be able to see that closed, right? All right, so once you have something that you're reasonably happy with, and I'm fairly happy with these animations that I've done here, now's the time to actually plug in the alpha, which would be coming from the plugin. So split struct spin here to the blend weights there, and just plug them in. So make sure you have thumb, index, middle, ring, pinky. So you should have thumb, index, middle, ring, and pinky. And just a quick note again on the pinky, there are 4 joints that comes from the SteamVR. Sorry, that comes from the Robo Recall. So make sure you account for that on your animations as well. Otherwise, it just won't look as good. All right, so once we have that, we should be able to animate that in. I'm just going to turn on the left controller here. And I should be able to get the full animation. So you can see here, there. All right, so let's have a look at these 2 hands in VR and have a little bit of fun. So if you're using the demo, like the VR pawn that we have in the sample content from the plugin, just gonna minimize that. Just gonna have to replace these variables here. For the animations, you need to do one extra step. So go to class settings, add the anim hand interface, or the hand anim interface that we've created. File that. Make sure that's in. And before I forget, let's do that for the moon dust as well. Animation. And that's pretty much it. So if we go to the VR pawn, I want this mesh. Oh, sorry. That will be for the right. And this is the right animation in here. And for the left, we're gonna use this animation for the left. And the skeletal mesh, where are you? Robo left is here. And alrighty, so right, and you can see from here we've got some nice full finger animations. Yeah, could do that. So we've done Moondust, we've done Robo Recall hands, and fully animate the fingers. So this is how roughly it will look like if we have Robo Recall compatible with the index. So that's pretty much it for now, folks. So on the next video, we'll have a look at some of the function BP nodes that we have for you at the plugin. All right, and I'll just have a little bit more fun with this.